So just what the heck is a no spend month? Like, what does that actually mean? Well, my family, we are 100% debt free, which even includes our beautiful home. And one of the many tools that we used in order to achieve total debt freedom was no spend months. We did several no spend months when we were on the debt free journey, and they were pivotal to helping us finally get control over our money and be able to pay off our debt and save money. But I also know that a no spend month can be kind of challenging, and there's a lot of misconceptions about it. So first off, with a no spend month, it's not that you're not spending any money at all. Like you're still paying your bills. Like you're not paying your rent or your mortgage or your utility bills. You're still paying those things because you don't want to go delinquent on that, right? Like you want to make sure when you turn the faucet on, that water comes out, right? Like you want to make sure of that. So you're still paying your bills and doing that, and you're still buying groceries. You're just not buying things that are outside of that. So you're not going out to eat. And also while you're doing your grocery shopping, you're not buying things that are not food related. So you're not, in Aldi shopping around and then you go down that one aisle that has all the Aldi finds in it. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. And you're not going down that aisle. You're not perusing. You're not buying things that are not going to feed your family for the next week or month or whatever. So that is how a no spend month works. It's just a conscious effort to where you're not spending money that is not on groceries or fuel for your car or train or bus fare. And you're obviously paying your bills, but you're not spending any money outside of that. So you're not going just randomly shopping at Target or on Amazon. You're not saying yes to dinner or drinks out. You're consciously being aware of your spending and you're saying no, and you're holding on to your money for this entire month. But allow me to be clear though, a no spend month isn't about saving money. I know this always surprises folks whenever I say this, but it's not about saving a whole bunch of money. It's about changing your spending habits. Because the truth is that spending money is kind of like gaining weight. It's really easy to spend money and not be aware of it, right? Like we all know that we might put on like a pound or two and not notice it. It's only when we start putting on like the 5 and the 10 extra pounds that we start paying attention to it, right? We start realizing, oh, our jeans aren't quite fitting so great, or oh, this dress used to look really cute on me and it's not looking so cute no more, right? Like we've all been there, okay? We've all been. And it's just like it sneaks up on us. Well, that's the same thing that tends to happen with our spending too, is that we kind of go on autopilot, we kind of forget about it, we don't think about it, and we just start spending money. And it's not that we're spending a ton of money at one time. Like most of us aren't going to just go and spend $100 without thinking about it, right? Like if we were to all of a sudden go to spend $100, we would probably take a step back and be like, do I really want to spend this $100, right? We would probably do that. But $3, $10, maybe even $20 or $30, we might not think so much about it, especially when it comes to online shopping, where we go into Target and we fall into a vortex that is Target. You end up spending money that you don't realize, that you're not conscious of. And so the purpose of a no spend month is to rein that in and make you aware and conscious of what you're spending your money on. And once you're aware of what you're spending your money on and the spending habits and the kind of the bad habits that you've picked up, then you can make an effort to change them. And that is the goal of a no spend month. The goal isn't to save bukus of money. That's an added benefit of this, is that you can save money and you can pay off debt and you can do those things that you've been wanting to do for a while that you haven't been able to do. That's the added benefit. And so because we are coming up on a brand new year, we're coming up on 2020, I think January is the perfect time to do a no spend month. I've tried before to do it during the holiday season, and the truth is that just doesn't work because, well, we all know the holiday season just kind of goes into the twilight zone or something. And so I know that from experience that trying to do one during the holidays just doesn't work for me and my family. And so I like doing them at the start of the year. It's a perfect way to nip any of the bad habits that kind of creeped up on you while, during the holiday season, just like, hey, holiday overeating, right? It's the perfect way to kind of nip those bad habits that kind of have spewed out of control during the holiday shopping season. And it's a great way to just kind of rein them in and get them back under control. And so I'm actually putting together a completely free no spend January challenge that you can sign up for in the description of this video. It's a completely free challenge. It will start on January 1st. It'll be delivered to your inbox. And my goal with this challenge is to kind of help you be successful successful in not spending money for January, but also to kind of give you my tried and true ways of making a no spend month easier on yourself and your family. It's going to have all sorts of different challenges, things that you can do at home, things that kind of help you keep from being bored. I'm going to be honest. This is the number one thing that everyone always says, like, the no spend month sounds so boring because you're not doing anything. Well, the added benefit of doing this in January versus doing this in the summertime is that typically during January, it's crappy weather anyways. So you can't really go outside and go do a bunch of stuff anyhow. You're stuck indoors. So of course, boredom is going to be at its highest, right? But it's also less tempting to spend money if you can find things that are productive to do inside your home. And so that's what I'm going to help you with on this challenge, is kind of just help you with different challenges and things to kind of help make this successful for you. And I include a bunch of free printables to kind of help guide you, and so you can track your progress and just kind of keep up with things. You can sign up for that in the link in the description of this video if that is something that you really, really want to do. Challenge starts on January 1st. That's when the first challenge email will be sent to your inbox on New Year's Day. So we can, start the new year off with a great big bang. But let's answer the question of, can a no spend month really actually help you? So to answer that question, you really got to think about, like, what are your goals with your money? Like, think about it. Like, what are your goals with your money? What is your goal? Like, what's your goal with your life? Like, what are your goals? Like, what's important to you? Like, for us, when we decided to become 100% debt free, it was born out of a necessity, if you will, which is honestly how a lot of big goals in life happen, right? It's born out of a necessity. And what happened was I was pregnant with our second child. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I realized that we were going to be like flat broke once baby number 2 showed up. Like, we weren't going to have money for me to continue staying home. And this was a big deal to me and my husband, because the reality is that if I went back to the workforce, went back to work, over half of my paycheck was going to be going just to childcare and the added fuel cost of me driving all over the place, because we live in Metro Atlanta. And if there's one thing you can count on Metro Atlanta always having, is traffic. We got it at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's always here. It never leaves us. But the reality is that it was going to cost more money in gas, more money for daycare, and plus my time, right? And we did not want that. That was not the lifestyle that we had envisioned for our family. And so we decided, okay, we've got to make some really big changes in our life. And that's where we start. And that's when we decided to embark on the debt-free journey. And I will tell you guys, not owing people money is fantastic, okay? We don't live a life of monthly payments anymore. It is amazing, like absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, think about it. Like, add up right now all of the minimum monthly payments that you're required to pay every single month, and look at that total number and recognize that that is a pay raise you can give yourself if you pay off that debt. It's probably the biggest pay raise you'll ever receive, right? At least it was for us. And so to help us get there, to get to that debt freedom goal, these no spend months were the perfect way of being able to do that, because one, I'm married to a spender, and being married to a spender, like, he can spend money without thinking about it, but I'm also guilty of it as well. Yes, even savers, we can spend money without realizing it. And that's just because bad habits are bad habits. And a no spend month is the perfect way to recognize those bad habits. But the no spend month is also the perfect way of being able to generate some additional income into your household during that month. And so you're able to then, save your money, pay off debt, do something else with that money that maybe you need to do with it. Like, maybe pay for sports dues or something else that maybe you've been too financially strapped here lately to be able to pay for your kids, or whatever it may be. The no spend month is the perfect way to do that, because you're not only changing your spending habits, you're able to keep more of that money that is coming into your household. And through changing your spending habits, you're changing those impulse buys. It's causing you to become very aware of what is triggering you to want to spend money. For me, I had to unsubscribe from all of the deal bloggers that I follow. And I love deal bloggers. I love them so much, but I had to unsubscribe from them, because I realized that every time I would see those deals come into my inbox, or I'd see them on Instagram or Facebook, it was causing me to want to spend money. Like, I would literally find myself going to these websites and being like, putting in the promo code and being like, oh my gosh, I get this for only $10. Oh my gosh, oh, it's only $3 of shipping, not a big deal. Like, I would be so excited about this item, but I was completely unaware of, like, do I actually have the money to pay for this? And honestly, most of the time I didn't have the money. And then if you compound that over several different times throughout the course of like an entire month, it ends up not just being $10 that you overspent on. It ends up being, $40, $50, or $100 or more that you've overspent on. And it's stuff that you don't even need. And so, but by doing the no spend month, you can kind of rein in that impulse buy. You can kind of catch yourself because you're aware that, hey, I'm not spending money. I'm not spending money. So when you find yourself and you're on, that Instagrammers like, Insta stories and they're like, oh my gosh, you can get this top for only $11, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, swipe up. Oh my God, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. It kind of becomes this block that says, hey, no, you're not spending money this month. Chill out, relax. This deal will come back again. Chill out. It's not the only deal that's ever going to happen. All right. And it's great because one, that you're not just adding to crap that you already have in your house, right? You're not just buying more stuff, more junk. Okay. Which is the last thing we all need to do after the holidays, right? We don't need any more stuff in our house. Two, you're going to hold on to that money. You're going to hold on to that money. You're not going to be left wondering where all your money went. You're going to actually know, hey, I get to keep my money because I didn't impulsively spend money that I don't have. And it also causes you to become more resourceful. As I just said, most of us have a lot of stuff in our home. We might not feel like we do, but chances are you've probably got like at least a basket full of junk shoved in a closet somewhere that you don't actually need, or you've completely forgotten about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have gone to the store and thought, oh, I don't have this at home, but I need it. And I've bought it only to get home and realize like a week later when I'm going through some random closet in my house that I actually have 3 of that item. Have you ever done that before? Like you truly thought you didn't have something and then you realize that no, you actually have it or more than one already in your house? Like doing the no spend month forces you to end up being resourceful because it forces you to use what you already have on hand, which is wonderful, guys. It's absolutely wonderful because you're not just adding more crap to your house. So you not only get to keep your money, but you get to keep your home from becoming cluttered with unnecessary things because you already have those things. And it forces you to shop your closet too. And through this whole process, you're also going to learn what your spending triggers are because we all have a spending trigger. I don't care if you're a spender or a saver naturally, we all have a spending trigger. My spending trigger is books. I love to buy books. Books make me happy. I love books. I just absolutely love them. But the problem is that I didn't realize that there was one year where I had spent well over $200 on a bunch of books. And a lot of these books were not very good books, y'all. They weren't in the libraries for free. It's free, y'all. And so the point is that I spent way too much money on stuff that didn't provide a whole lot of value to my life. And so my spending trigger is I see a book I want to read or I hear about a book that seems interesting and I want to check it out. I feel like, okay, I got to go buy this book. I want to read it. So let me go get it. Let me go get the book. Let me go get it. So one of the things that I had to identify is that, okay, that's a trigger for me. I want to read this book. I get happy about this book. But what I need to do is instead of immediately going to Amazon to check out the book, I need to first go to my library. I go to my library's website and I log in and I see, okay, is this book available at my library? And I check to see if it's available, audio, ebook, or paperback book. And I can add it to like my saved list in my library thing on my libraries, whatever. And then that way, like, I know that I'm going to read that book, but this time it's not going to cost me money. And so by knowing that though, I'm able to stop myself from impulsively buying a book that I may not even enjoy, a book that might not be that great, right? So I'm not just going to waste money on a book that I don't actually end up wanting to read anyways. Instead, I can go to the library, check it out, and see if I actually like it. So, but if you identify your spending triggers, you'll be able to stop yourself. You'll be able to you'll be able to develop the habit of stopping yourself from pulling the trigger. You'll be able to stop yourself from doing so and spending money that you don't necessarily want to spend or need to spend right now. Another added benefit of doing a no spend month is that it leaves you more time for other things. It's interesting, and this was a very interesting thing that kind of came out of one of our no spend months is that my husband and I realized that not only the less money that we were spending caused less stress in our household, less tension, but it also made more time for me and my husband. And that might sound weird because I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to go on date nights. You got to go on date nights. You got to go out to eat and go to the movies or throw axes or whatever the newfangled trendy thing is. But the reality for at least me and my husband is that we've discovered like true, like intimate communication and just like truly like intimate moments happen when we're just me and him together, not necessarily together out doing things outside the house, but when we're here in the home doing things together. Like when me and my husband, we were messing around in the kitchen. My husband's a hunter. So we got an deer and we had processed it ourselves and we were coming up with like a breakfast sausage recipe that we wanted to try. And so we were like, we had spices flying everywhere in this kitchen trying to figure out like this concoction to make, right? And it was so much fun. Like, it was like we were a little kid. And the reality is that we would not have had that same experience if we were like in a cooking class. We just wouldn't have, because we would have been like, we both would have been like more reserved. We wouldn't, we wouldn't have been joking around with each other in the format that we were, because we were comfortable in our own home. We were comfortable in our own home. It was just me and him. We could be ourselves. We didn't have to feel like we had to be the public versions of ourselves. We got to be the private versions of ourselves. And I think that that's a really big part of having true intimate moments with your spouse, is when you're able to be your true authentic self. And so we discovered that by not going out and spending a whole bunch of money, we ended up having more time for each other and just better time for each other. And that trickled down to our kids too. We had better time for our kids, more meaningful time for our kids. We're pulling out the board games and playing board games with each other. We're getting creative in the kitchen with our kids. We're doing fun things that don't require a whole bunch of money. And that was one of the best benefits that came out of doing a no spend month. And so let's talk about the practical things that you need in order to do a no spend month. Really, this is all that you're going to need. One, create your budget. Now, if you've never created a budget before, I have a video that kind of details that out. I've linked it to the description of this video so you can go and see that, and I'll break down the quickest way to start a budget. I promise it's super quick and easy. So if you've never created a budget before, check out that video, because that will help you get started with budgeting and figuring out a budget that will work for your real life. The other thing that you want to do is set goals for yourself. What's the goal of the no spend month? Like, do you have a goal with any money that you save? Like, are you going to put it in your emergency fund? Are you going to pay off debt with it? Are you going to save it into a sinking fund, maybe for vacations, for the summertime or for Christmas, the upcoming year? Like, what are you going to do with any money that you end up saving? What are you hoping to discover while you're on this no spend challenge? Are you hoping to discover any spending triggers, any weaknesses, impulses that you might have? Like, what's your goals for the no spend month? And then unsubscribe or unfollow all of the folks that make you want to spend money. So any influencers, bloggers out there that you follow that make you feel like, oh, I want to spend money. Oh, I really like that thing. Unsubscribe and unfollow for at least while you're on the no spend challenge. You can always subscribe again whenever the challenge is over. I just recommend that during this challenge that you just unsubscribe and unfollow, so that way you're not tempted to spend money that is outside the budget. And don't forget to sign up for the free No Spend January 2020 challenge. Linked it to the description of this video, where I'm going to be holding your hand and walking you through all month long in the month of January. So that way you can make sure that you have a successful no spend challenge.